Hey everybody, John Harris here with you. I'm with my pal, co-host Billy Smith, and Roger is not with us. He did send us in his picks because he is on the way to becoming a dad. They are actually either en route or at the hospital right now. So he texted us his picks. That's dedication, buddy. He says we're on the way, or something along those lines. About to have
Yeah,
a baby now, so.
and
Still sent us his pick, so that's dedication. Got to give the young man credit.
yeah, I think he's finally got a hockey team now. This is number six.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. This is number six, so he'll be able to put six on the ice.
I
Be good. I think is it going to be 3-3? He said.
think he said 3-3.
Yeah, yeah. So good for him. Good for them. Well, we do send our best wishes and hope everything works out well. And we'll hear later on. And if we do, we'll add an updated post for any of you guys that are listening and watching out there. He did send us his picks, so I'll let you know what those are as we go through the games. And Bill, if you're ready, uh, we can start off by talking about our sponsor first.
There
Let's
you
talk
go.
about the guy that's helping us do this every week for right now, for at least for the NFL season, and that's our friend Dennis Ingraldi at Vineland Realty Corporation, 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland, New Jersey. Uh, I will give you their phone number here in a second. It is 856-690-9482, 856-690-9482. Dennis and his crew can help you with anything real estate related, whether it's buying, selling, leasing, you want to rent a place, you want to sell a place. It can be a business or it can be residential, anything in that South Jersey area. And he's got connections all over the place. So um, if he can't specifically help you, him or his people will find a resource for you. So that is Vineland Realty Corporation, 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland, New Jersey, 856-690-9482. And we thank Dennis and the crew for helping us out and keeping Public John, including from the cheap seats, all the media stuff we have going on to keep on going on. So we'll go from there. A little camera work there. Uh, and Bill, if you're ready, I'm ready. The first thing we have from the cheap seats was if you had Netflix, maybe you wasted some time in your life watching. From what I understand, I did not, and apparently that was a good call on my part. From everything I've heard, it was just not a good show. Uh, as Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fought to a decision. Uh, the fight was watered down, I guess, to 2-minute rounds or 14-ounce gloves. A friend of mine I talked to today said, yeah, so it was really like kind of watching a short pillow fight with these 14-pound gloves. I just hit
Yeah,
you. A static. You hit me with a pillow. Um, just it just wasn't.
yeah. I
Oh,
mean, it was interesting seeing Mike in the ring again. I mean, absolutely, but yeah, it was hard to watch. And then on top of that, Netflix really crapped the bed because
I
everything
heard.
was buffering and looked like in somebody was saying it looked like it was in 240 instead of
Well, they're saying that it wasn't a good performance by Netflix,
Mm-mm.
uh, and that the coverage wasn't good anyway. Uh, the fight itself was apparently kind of boring. They said Tyson really didn't throw many punches, but he did keep his arms up and defended himself.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know if he was waiting for an opening and or what. I don't know. I didn't see it, so I
Well,
can't.
I think it's all money grab, and
I'm waiting for the calls for the rematch because it's going to be another money grab.
yeah.
It didn't knock me out, so therefore, I mean, I could still win another rematch. He's 58 years old, and how old's Jake Paul? 27.
27, yeah, 31
Yeah,
years
so
younger.
if I'm him, I don't care if who's wearing what. Why couldn't I knock out a guy more than twice my age?
Well, that's the whole thing. It was really a lose lose for him
Right.
because
It is really, if you think about it. Um, yeah, and that's a good point. I think there'll be calls for a rematch at some point. Um, and from what I understand, the two actually have respect for each other. So it's not like maybe they didn't want to hurt each other.
Yeah.
Some unspoken agreement or something like that. Who knows? But yeah, plus it's like you said, Billy, it's a money grab, and that's what a bunch of us were talking. I went old school today and went to the barber shop,
Yeah.
which is the best place to get both sides of a coin, man. And I really sat there and listened to these guys, and we talk a little NFL football every couple weeks, and any other sport things that come up, and they were all talking about the fight. And of course, last week's Chiefs game, today's K-State game later on tonight. Um, but the big thing was the fight. The big topic of conversation was the fight, and it was just none of it was positive. Everybody had their take.
Hmm.
I picked and was hoping for Ty. I think I picked it on the show last week. I was
Yeah.
thinking Tyson would win. Uh, and apparently 80% of the people, when I looked at an ESPN poll, 80% of people thought Tyson would win. That's a lot.
I don't know. I think Tyson's best bet was the slap the night before with the
The night
weigh-in.
before was
That,
probably,
that was the
I
that was
didn't
the best
see it,
shot he
but
got
I
in.
saw the slap, yeah, in the weigh-in. And I thought that, from what I understand, that might have been the best shot of the night,
Yeah.
of the whole build-up. Nothing else during the fight hit that hard.
Mm.
But you know yourself, if they were ticked off at each other, remember the old weigh-in melees? I mean, you wouldn't have been able to stop Paul from coming at Mike, and Mike would have went at him more. So
Yeah.
it was just show. It's just for, like you said, the money grab.
Hmm.
Got 20 million for last night.
Yeah.
So
And
he's already a winner no matter what. And
yeah.
there'll be I really think there'll be another one soon, because it wasn't. The key is it's getting so much negative publicity, the whole fight, that it may be a tough sell next time.
Yeah, I don't see it, but I could see another washed up boxer coming along. 'Cause
Right,
that's
right, right. Or yeah, it's true. Lennox Lewis or somebody may come out of the woodwork and go, well, if Tyson took his best shots, maybe I can do better and get a shot or two
yeah.
and actually win. So
But like I said, Netflix got they crapped the bed. I mean, I literally about a dozen times had to back out of the app and go back in it. It was just
yeah, you
it
weren't the
was
only
that
one. It
bad.
was Netflix. It wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't you, or it wasn't anybody's home signal. It
No.
was Netflix. I think it was their first live sporting event, and
Hmm.
that obviously takes more of a signal, I think, at their end than
Yep.
replaying a movie or whatever, replaying a TV show that they're all filmed ahead of time. That was their first, outside of the Tom Brady roast. I think that was their first live event. Oh, I apologize. Chris Rock's first stand-up show after the slap was the first live event, then the Tom Brady roast, and then this fight. But the fight's the first sporting event.
Right.
So they had to follow it. Where stand up, Chris Rock's just walking the stage a little bit. The roast, it's mostly on the podium and a couple other cameras, but no real big movement. Whereas a sporting event, they're at least moving around, even if it wasn't a good show.
Yeah.
So it was probably hard for them to do, but no excuse. If you're gonna say you can show it, you got to make sure you can show it.
Yes.
And you would have thought they'd do their homework and see that they probably got a lot of, well, this should work fine. Well, should, could. Didn't work. So, um, that being said, the only other things we know is Winnipeg was undefeated in the NHL. Now they do have a couple losses, but they're still like 2 and 1, I think, or something. NBA, it's just really kind of getting started. If you're a Philadelphia fan, some of the folks watching are
Oof.
from there.
What are
Uh,
they 2-8?
they're 2 and 8, and it ain't looking good. Embiid looks already tired and beat up. I think it's more that he's not in shape because he hasn't played since the Olympics, uh, which has really got a lot of people upset that, okay, he was fine to play in the Olympics, but now he's not ready to play now.
Yeah.
That. Um, so you've got that.
We got Rogers' team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, are 14-0.
14-0.
Yeah.
Man, that's and who thought it would be Cleveland?
Yeah. No.
Really? I mean, you figure they're a playoff team, but excuse me. Sorry, folks.
Too tight.
Yeah. Ow, I got allergies the last couple of weeks for some reason. We've got a lot of wind and the weather and stuff is, but other than that, MLS soccer, we know that Miami's out, so Leo Messi's out, at least
Yeah.
MSL playoffs. Uh, and I guess that's really about it until we get into the NFL. Of course, Thursday night. How about them Eagles, baby?
Yeah. They pulled it out.
They
They
pulled
were
it
down
out.
at halftime at what 10-3 at halftime.
10-3, yeah, losing 10-3 at halftime. And still into the third quarter, about halfway through, and then all of a sudden they just took over. Uh, Philly's defense is what's carrying them now. 6 games in a row they've won, and it's still the defense. A guy made a point today at the barber shop. I mentioned Philly, and he's like, you know what it is? I'm not sold on Jalen Hurts as a quarterback, um, because when you got weapons like Smith, Goddard, and AJ Brown, and you're not hitting them, the only thing saving them is Saquon Barkley with that offensive line right now.
Yeah.
He scrambles a little bit, but you know, he's got to be careful. He misses throws or he doesn't, they're just not offensively explosive. I mean, the score was so big only because Saquon broke 2 runs
Hmm.
behind that big offensive line. And if you look at both of them, they started on the right with Mailata and Lane Johnson.
Yep.
He'd start right and then cut back, and the holes were so big he just took it to the house. Now, a lot of backs couldn't have taken it to the house. I admit that, but they picked the right guy there. But and he knows how to run, but they got to figure out a way to get the passing game going. I think that's their biggest weakness. But
Yeah,
the
I agree.
defense is getting better, uh, and if they can figure out a way to start getting AJ Brown and Devontae Smith going, it's going to be tough. The
I
whole
still
game
still think
script,
still think Hurts is having problems reading defenses. I guess that's the only thing I can really think of. I don't.
yeah, we're pulling the trigger quick.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't trust. It's not the receivers. He doesn't trust the pattern or the play, so he won't throw to the vacant spot where the receiver is going.
Hmm.
He's trying to throw to the receiver if they get open. And if they're not open, then he's like, "What do I do?" He goes through his first read. You can see he goes to a second read, and unless he's got like Barkley or Gainwell out in the flat, he doesn't have a whole lot, and then he's got to take off or he gets
Hmm.
sacked or something. So yeah, I think you're right. He's hesitant,
Yeah.
and and that and again, you also got to give him some props because he's on his he's played what 3 years, 4 years, and he's on his like third or fourth offensive coordinator. I mean, every time you get settled in an offense, it changes again, you know. So
Yeah. I
and
just
that
think I think it's just that leadership thing. He doesn't, I mean, granted, you got the guys that are, like Rodgers, he's been in the league forever, but you got
yeah,
Mahomes. When he commands the team when he's out there. As soon as he steps
yeah,
on the field, he owns it. Hurts, I don't see that. And
yeah. I can see your point. I can see your point. Now we don't know for sure because he is a quiet quote unquote guy, and the guys go. The team has been asked about it, and they go, "Well, he leads by example, and he does work hard and all that." Okay, I'll give you that. But what else are they going to say as well? They're not going to exactly uh, badmouth the guy,
right.
and we don't know what kind of guy he is. He seems all right, but you're right. I think he's hesitant throwing the ball to spots.
Hmm.
If he doesn't see that opening from that receiver, I think he's afraid to throw it. And then sometimes he forces balls to receivers that aren't open, and that's why for a while he was doing a turnover thing. Now he's been good the last few weeks, but you always worry, is it going to happen again?
Right.
So. Um, but anyway, that first game, Roger and Billy just missed it. I thought for a minute you guys were going to cover, but then Barkley had the 2 big runs, and I was breathing a sigh of relief. Though toward the end, Washington made it exciting. Yeah, it took an onside kick to hold on to that spread,
Hmm.
but they did. So start looking at games tomorrow. All of them are in the good old USA tomorrow. I think we're done with that international crap, which it came out this week that players don't really like.
I didn't think so.
No, they don't. It's always either a short week or it just messes up. Athletes, especially professionals, get into a routine, and you do something like this, it takes them out of that routine completely. Now, Jacksonville got to go there for 2 weeks, lost the first game, I think was a close one, but then won the second game. And a lot of people think, hey, it's because they were there 2 weeks. They were able to get settled a little bit where the team coming in didn't. Um, but I, I I don't know why you have to do it. I know why they're doing it money wise,
Yeah.
but you know, maybe one game a year, 2 games a year. This year we had like 5 games. Four,
Yeah, I think they're trying to. I think they eventually want to expand,
well,
to.
they do. They want
But
to expand it.
but I don't think that's going to be good.
It's I don't think it's possible to do it and have quality. You know, I mean, you could have. I think there was talk for a while. Remember that Jacksonville was going to become a team in London a few
Yeah.
years ago. Well, what you're going to have for 8 weeks of the season? Have people travel over to London and back to play them? That makes no sense. I mean, I just don't. I
Yeah.
think it just disrupts too many things. But
Yeah. If
it's
they want to
money
do
grab.
like, if they want to do like, say, one of the other leagues and take it over there and almost be like a minor league, I think
Yeah.
that might be the way to
Well,
go.
remember they did that kind of with NFL Europe, and
Yeah.
and to me it didn't really work. It
Mhm.
just didn't look like it worked when you had something every week. They didn't get the turnout. That's why I'm saying one game or two a year, okay, but we're up to 4 or 5.
Mhm.
And I think you do the one game and then give the team that went over there, make sure they have the bye the next week so that
Yes.
they can get back into their routines. I think that would be the fair way to do it, and then players might be more accepted of it, and I think that would be more feasible. But I
Yeah.
mean, you had one in Rio, you had one in Germany, at least two in London. You
Yeah.
know, come on.
Speaking of Germany, man, they really put it to them sending the
Oh,
John and Carolina game over there. Oh,
oh,
I
I mean, wow.
mean, if you're trying to make something of it, you can't send those two shit teams.
Yeah, why would you send those two teams? Really? I mean, it just, I guess they figure, well, we don't have to send anybody good. We're testing the German market. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They keep giving you good numbers. It really works well. It really works there. It's more money for us. Blah blah blah. What are the players seeing? Their salaries are the same. They're not getting a bump every time they go over there. What are the perks? If I'm the players, I don't blame them. I mean, I
Yeah.
know everybody's like, oh, they're making millions, big deal, blah blah blah. You're risking injury and things like that. And I think the quality suffers.
Mhm.
You know, and then like you said, they also send over Mullica Township versus Wamego High. They're sending the scrub teams. All right, buddy. I guess let's get to it.
All
If you're
right.
I am, and I'll also list Rogers picks. Minnesota against Tennessee. The Vikings are picked by 6. It's in Tennessee. I took Minnesota across the board. Roger took Minnesota to win, Tennessee to cover.
And I took Minnesota across the board also, even though they haven't been playing well. I
No,
think
not
I
as
think
of late.
Darnold's back to his old self, and I don't know.
I like to call Tennessee one of the teams. There's a few teams that I like to call the cure. Tennessee right now is the cure for Minnesota to get back on track, I think, because they're
Yep.
just the old Chevy Chase line of Caddyshack. Bill, I'm going to use it again. They're not They're not good.
Not good.
No, not good. Just kind of an understatement. So I took Minnesota across the board as well, like we said. Green Bay and Chicago. The Packers are picked by 5.5. The Bears are turning into a dumpster fire fast. They fired their offensive coordinator, have a new play caller who's making some changes as far as having the whole offense meeting together and all that. But I've heard some stats on Caleb Williams. He is over 400. I think they said 411th or 412th all time in passes over 10 to 15 yards in completions. He's not completing balls past 10 yards. So, and I guess the ones he's completing are to guys in the opposite jerseys. So, is he overrated? Did they make a change for him when they didn't need to when they had Justin Fields? Because is it a step up or not? It would be funny to find out what Justin Fields' rank is in that situation. I'm not sold on Caleb Williams. I think he takes too many risks. He panics, but he is a rookie. And the other part is maybe they need a whole new coaching staff. And I would bet my own paycheck plus Social Security and retirement fund that Eberflus will be gone at the end of the season. The Bears don't like to fire a head coach during the season, but I think he will be gone within hours after the end of the season. But he'll be gone. I
Yeah, I
see him sticking
Williams.
around.
I mean, he's a physical specimen, but other than that, I just obviously they took the wrong quarterback there when they
He
could have
got the
had
wrong
Dan.
guy. Yep.
Which I'm happy with because then Washington would have probably end up taking Williams.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like you said,
They
they
would have
had
had
Field.
Williams, and the Bears
Yeah.
could have had Daniels,
But
and
if you
you know
had,
what? That could have been bad for Daniels.
yeah, I mean, if you had Fields, I would have just got,
Rode that out.
you should have got Marvin Harrison. Then you would have been,
Yes. Then you had a weapon
then you had a weapon. So
because he really didn't have
that,
weapons
that's the way
before.
I would have won if I was Chicago. But
Yeah, I think you're right. So yep, I took Green Bay across the board. So did Roger.
and so did I.
Okay. I was gonna say that being said, I think the Bears will cover. This one, because of the spread, could get interesting a little. Detroit's playing Jacksonville. It's in Detroit. The spread is 13 and a half points because we know Trevor Lawrence is out for Jacksonville. So he's their starting QB. And somebody else is out, you said too, right?
Hank Bigsby, their backup running back,
All right, so he's out.
he's out. So
I don't know who Jacksonville's backup quarterback is.
is it Mills?
Oh, is it he used to play in
I think it was Mills.
Tennessee, I think.
Yeah, I think that's who it is. I'm not positive,
Yeah, he's
but
got experience, but he's not going to set the house on fire. There's a
I don't
reason
think it
backup.
matters. Yeah, but what's
No,
interesting here that game the other night was Detroit. With Goff had 5 interceptions,
yeah,
and
yeah. But here's how good Detroit is. They still won.
they still won. I went to bed when they were down 10. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I didn't think that they weren't going to come back, but I just figured that's 10 points, and I'm
yeah,
going.
10 points.
And I'm
Golf
like, yeah.
terrible,
But he was terrible.
but he did enough. He did enough in the end.
Yeah, well, I got him on my fantasy team, so that's what that's
That five
that
interceptions
was
killed
minus
you.
5 points right there.
Yeah, that hurt you right there. But
But I'll take Detroit across the board here.
yep, Roger and I did too. It might be 13 and a half, but I'm I was tempted to have Jacksonville cover. But then without Bigby, how much are they going to be able to run the ball? Because the only
Mhm.
way they're going to be able to stay in the game is run the ball to keep it out of Detroit's hands.
Yep.
And I don't see that happening now without Lawrence and without Bigby. I mean, they have ETN, right? But that's really going to be
Yeah, I think he's still.
probably right. He's
I
playing, but he's kind of beat up.
think so. Let's see. Just real quick here.
Thought he had a hamstring or a knee that was.
No, he's okay.
He's okay. All right.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to go out on a limb on the next game. Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Baltimore's picked by 3.5. Roger took Baltimore across the board. I would almost bet you're going to take Baltimore across the board.
Uh,
I'm taking Pittsburgh across the board.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know it's an upset pick. I think number one, Baltimore's secondary and their defense, their secondary especially, is horrible.
Oh.
It's terrible. It's terrible. They're they're just not good. Pittsburgh
Mhm.
defense is a little bit better. So, and they play very well against Baltimore. That's a big rivalry divisional game. Always. It's in Pittsburgh. To me, if they contain Jackson in the pocket, make him pass. Don't get me wrong, he's turned into a pretty good passer this season. But I think all that being said, I think Pittsburgh could win this game. Now I do know we were talking. Who's out? Russell? Is that his?
Warren, the backup
Oh,
running.
Warren. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe it's Russell Warren. Yeah, Warren, the running back. He's really the backup running back, but he gets almost as much time as Najee Harris.
Yeah, because he comes in on the third. He's the
Yeah,
pass.
third down and yeah. Um, but you still have your starter. And I got to give props. Russell Wilson's looked better than I thought. I thought it was a mistake to make him number one and bring him in when he was healthy. And that's why Mike Tomlin's a head coach and why you and I are on podcasts.
Yeah, right.
It's why he finishes over 500 every season. Um, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he sees. And this is one of those games where you're glad it's an experienced veteran like Russell Wilson.
Yeah, this should be a really good game here. And like I said, I give props to Wilson. He came back in and hasn't really missed a beat. So
Yeah,
that's
he hasn't. He hasn't. He's done really well. So give him credit. So with all that being said, I took Pittsburgh across the board.
yeah. Well, you almost had me right because the 3.5 is a little. I think it's going to be a field goal game. So I
Yeah,
will take the Ravens to win and Pittsburgh to cover.
and that's almost the way I went. But I said, I just think Pittsburgh may win it. But I got you Baltimore to win, Pittsburgh to cover.
Correct.
Vegas and Miami. In Miami, I think I got this wrong because it says here Vegas is picked by 7. No way. It's got to be Miami by 7.
Miami's picked by 7.5
Oh, it's
last.
7.5 now?
Yeah, yeah.
Earlier today. So yeah, it's Miami by 7.5. Um, and either way, that doesn't matter to me. I took Miami across the board. So did Roger. Um, Vegas has turned into a dumpster fire too. They really.
Yeah, I, I,
Um,
I got Miami to win it. 7.5 is a little steep because Miami hasn't been playing that great either. So
oh, that's true. And
I'll
then,
take this. I'll take the 7.5.
okay. And if I smell anything, I may let you know and change that before game time because I was leaning that way, and then I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. So you've got Miami to win, Vegas to cover.
Yep.
Okay. And like I said, Roger and I both took Miami. Rams in New England. I've been fighting this one because the Rams just didn't look good at all last week. On
Nah,
offense.
I don't know what happened to
And
him.
New England's got a good defense. They just have no offense. They don't have a Drake May is starting to look okay.
Hmm.
I think he needs more weapons, and he definitely needs some help on the offensive line. They can't run the ball because the line sucks.
Right.
Always running for his life because the line sucks.
Hmm.
And he's got really no receivers to throw to. Other than that,
Mm.
but with all that being said, he's actually shown a lot of improvement every week he's playing.
Oh yeah. Yep.
He really has. I give him credit. Um, for now, and it's weird that Roger and I took the same thing. I took the Rams to win, but I took New England to cover. I think it could be a 3-point game. I think it could be a field goal game or something. And I'm half tempted or was tempted and still am to take New England. I mean, the Rams just gotta wake up. The only thing I
Yeah,
will say for the Rams is they have to win. They
yeah,
need
they have to
to
win, but
stay in the playoff hunt.
I break it down to the positioning. They got the better quarterback, they got the better
Yes.
running back, and they got the better receiver. So I can't.
They
Not
do.
saying that New England can't keep it close. I just don't see it. So I got the Rams across the board.
And I may wake up tomorrow and think, what am I, an idiot? And let you know that I'm going to go with the Rams across the board too. But even though last week they should have, you have Cooper Cup, you got Pakua,
Yeah,
you got Williams, isn't it?
yeah, Kyron Williams,
Aaron Williams. How could you with
and
a
their defense wasn't bad. So I don't know what happened to their defense.
I just
So,
don't know what happened. But it does happen on occasion. So, and it might be that that was just the occasion. That's all. So next, Indy and the Jets. And buddy, I'm sorry, you may take Indy, but that means your faith or you're letting your heart get in it because they put Anthony Richardson back at quarterback. The Jets do have a decent defense. I just can't see them beating the Jets. It's only a 4-point spread. It's in you know Jimmy Hoffa Memorial Burial State. Um,
there's
so
there's no way the Jets should be favored in this game, no matter
oh,
who's the
really?
quarter. You know, um,
Wow.
I mean, they got Taylor's still running the ball for the Colts. Jets haven't beaten anybody. What's their record? They got what, 2 wins?
Yeah,
I mean,
they're not, you're right. They're not turning the world on fire. They're not going to
so I can't pick I can't pick them. Oh,
So you're going with Indy again. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. Gives us a couple differences all the way across the board. Roger and I both took the Jets to win and cover. I'm not going to lie to you, Bill. To me, the reason is Richardson. With Flack,
Yeah,
with Flack,
I
I might have taken uh Indy to at least cover, but I just don't see him performing well enough. I really don't. And I'm sorry about that, but
no, I mean
sorry about that because
it could be one or two things. It could light a fire on his ass and say, "Hey, I better get my shit together," or
well, that's
or
the thing, right? Maybe the 2 weeks off work.
and they did win with them before. So I mean, that's
Yeah. Well, but the thing is, you got to wonder, do the guys when he comes out and says he tapped out because he was tired? The guys in the huddle and the guys on the sidelines are like, "You're tired? Get the fuck out of here." So either he woke the fuck up, or they're going to have no confidence in him anyway.
yeah.
You know, you're right. It could go either way. They could blow the Jets out because of all that, or uh, they could get blown out because
Yeah,
nobody.
I just think it should have been like a 1 point difference, not a 4 point. I mean,
And I could see your point there. Your point. I could see that. I guess maybe a field goal instead of 4 points. I don't know. But I think the Jets will cover it. And so does Roger. You've got Indy, and of course, if Indy wins, that's the cover as well. So it should be an interesting game, I think.
I mean, their defense ain't that great because Arizona let them up for 31 points. So
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call there. But Arizona's getting better anyway. They really are.
that they are absolutely.
Yeah, I mean Connor's still a good running back. Marvin Harrison Jr. has proven to be something, which gives Murray somebody to throw to. He hasn't had that for a while, um, so it's going to be interesting that game. Cleveland, New Orleans, 1 point. Cleveland's picked by 1 point in New Orleans. And I struggled with this one. I was going to take New Orleans only because it's in New Orleans, because this is really these two teams. It's a shame because these two teams are both listed in my little circle of the cure. Um, but their records are so bad that neither one could be a cure for the other one, no matter what. Um, I Roger took Cleveland across the board because he's
Yeah.
close game especially. I for now took Cleveland across the board. Of course, it's only 1 point, so no matter who you take, it's pretty much across the board.
Right.
Um, but I may wake up tomorrow and say it's in New Orleans, it's 1 point. Cleveland's had a fire sale lately. So they've gotten rid of linemen, they've gotten rid of all kinds of people. But I'm holding out a thought, not hope, because I don't really holding out a thought that Jameis Winston, who's starting for Cleveland, is going to be so pissed off that he had a shot to start in New Orleans and get signed, and the Saints didn't sign him. Instead, they dumped him and went out and signed Derek Carr and let Winston go. And that might spur a little something in Jameis. He's already a little spurred because I think he thinks he's playing for a starting job next year.
Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah.
He's
Right.
not.
Yeah. Yeah.
In all
Yeah.
honesty, or if he is, it's because
But
Cleveland's drafting somebody,
well,
and
yeah, I was going to say he could
he can
be
be the
starting for
bridge,
Cleveland
the
next week.
bridge to the
Next
new
year.
guy,
So.
right? But I think that's what's going to happen. And then with Jameis, one of two things happens. He's either going to light him up because of that, or he's going to force stuff, which he's been known to do, and New Orleans is going to win in a runaway because Jameis is terrible and he's throwing picks and pick sixes and
Right.
kinds of stuff. But with him, it's one way or the other. They're either going to blow him. I think somebody's getting blown out tomorrow. Um, but I took Cleveland across the board, and so did Roger, of course, because Roger's, like I said, a huge.
Well, I'm glad you guys did because I took the Saints.
Good. Interest is going to be great this week because last week, um, I won't pick on nobody. Let's just say you guys didn't have a good week. I didn't have a great week either, but well, we can do that afterwards. San Francisco and Seattle. Niners in Santa Clara, which is home for them, I guess, are picked by 6.5. Roger and I both did the same thing. I think 6.5 is kind of high. And you said they get Metcalf back, Seattle does.
They
Right?
get Metcalf back, yeah.
Yeah. So I took San Francisco to win, Seattle to cover, and so did Roger.
You know what? I had San Francisco across the board, and I was going to change it. But you know what? Since you guys are already there, I'm going to stick with it. 49ers across the board.
Woo! This is a big game for both of them
Mm-hmm.
for that Western Division.
Yeah, they're both. Well, San Francisco's 5-4, Seattle's 4-5. So
yeah, it's almost a must-win for Seattle if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but Geno Smith is Geno Smith again.
he's back to the old Geno Smith that was riding the bench for a few years.
Yeah.
You wonder, should Geno be holding a clipboard, but wearing a baseball cap? But you never know. I mean, San Francisco's defense hasn't been great, but not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
They do have McCaffrey back, but I think they miss Ayuk on the other side. Yeah, you got Debo, but
yeah, to a point. I think that rookie's coming in and playing pretty good.
What's the heck's his name?
Pearsall.
Yeah, Pearsall. Yeah. He's showing why they drafted him. I give him credit. Man, coming back from being shot in the chest, Jesus, there's a story right there.
Yep.
But it also is don't wear expensive jewelry out where people can see you.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
You do draw the wrong element. In San Francisco, I believe, in the hometown where he's going to play.
Yeah.
He gets attacked. So, but give him credit. He fought back, and now he's back in the NFL. And the last couple of weeks, he's done really well. So, yeah, you're right. Uh, Next year they get Ayuk back. I think you got a three-headed receiving monster there
Mm-hmm.
next year with
Yep.
George Kittle and McCaffrey if they're
Yeah.
all healthy.
Yeah.
I mean they won't get Ayuk back this year, but if everybody else stays healthy the rest of the year now, tomorrow's a big game. If they win,
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll be back on track and they'll win the division. Um, that being said, I just think 6.5 is a little high. That's
Yeah,
a
I agree. I think so too. I think it should be maybe around a 4 point game,
yeah.
but
I was gonna say 4 points is good. Yeah, 4.5 at the most, but yeah, 6.5 just seems high to me. Um, Atlanta and Denver. Denver is picked by 2, which kind of surprises me. But they both of these teams though are so far improved from last year. They both are. Um, I I took Denver to win, or no, I didn't. I took Atlanta across the board. I apologize. Roger took Denver to win. If it was the other way around, if Denver was going to Atlanta, I probably would still have picked Atlanta only because of the East Coast, West Coast team flying to the East Coast.
yeah. And I believe there might be some snow in the forecast there.
Oh, in Denver,
Yeah.
that might change the whole thing for me, be honest
Let
with
me see. Let me
you.
just look.
Atlanta's used to playing indoors. If it's crappy weather, I
Let's
might
see.
do a little switcheroo there.
Let's see real quick here. Where's Denver? No, 9 mile an hour, 2 mile an hour winds, gusts up to 9. But yeah,
No snow.
no snow. The one
Okay.
app I thought I saw a flurry, but I guess not.
Well, I still may because of the altitude issue, but there's always an issue there. And Atlanta's used to playing indoor.
Yeah, I got Atlanta across the board. They're the best. Even
I
though Denver's playing well, but I just think Atlanta's the better team.
Yeah, exactly. I look at the quarterbacks, and though Bo Nix is playing well, I think Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback, and I think Cousins has more weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, though Denver's defense is no joke.
Right.
They're really good. But I did the same thing. I took Atlanta across the board. Roger took Denver across the board. So, and at a 2 point spread, I don't think there's a bad pick there, really.
Nah.
So, here's the game of the week, at least for me. Kansas City and Buffalo. Buffalo picked by 2 in Buffalo. Uh, we go with Kansas City still undefeated. Um, Roger took Buffalo across the board. I said I got to ride or die with the Chiefs until they lose. Well, they haven't lost yet. This is one of those heart versus head things. My head keeps telling me that Buffalo is going to win this game. And if they do, it'll be by 3 or 4. So the point spread would be, so I thought Buffalo and they would cover. But you know what? The Chiefs keep finding weird ways to win. I mean, last week, the blocked field goal. Come on. And here's the thing. If you looked at that, if the first guy didn't block it, there were 1 or 2 more guys right there that
Mm-hmm.
would have blocked it. I mean, they found something, and that's good coaching. They found something over that one spot in the line where they could just concentrate and rush in and get there in time. Because that was a chip shot field goal, really. It was like a 35-yarder.
Yeah.
For these guys, that's a chip shot field goal. I thought they'd lost. I think even the Chiefs thought they lost because when you look at their sideline, you see a couple guys not looking, they're looking away, you know, and then you just see them explode when it gets blocked. And the crowd was, if you ever watched this video or saw the highlights or something with the sound,
Mm-hmm.
you could have heard a pin drop. It was like, oh shit, we lost. And then of course the block happens in Arrowhead Stadium. One of the guys from the barbershop was at the game, and he said even for Arrowhead, the sound, the decibels probably broke a record when that field goal got blocked. He said the place went nuts. Of course it would.
Yeah, sure.
Um, and he said he was sitting in the end zone. You could, and I love that. I sat in the end zone a couple times at the old Veterans Stadium. You could see the play developing. You could see
Hmm.
it before it happens. You know what's coming. And he said you could see them all kind of moving around last second to that one area of the line. You could see it coming. That's where they were going to focus and rush in on. So, it was a weird thing to see. The Chiefs just keep finding ways to win. I know
Yeah.
Buffalo's defense is okay, but they got a couple injuries on offense. Uh, so I think the big key is going to be containing Allen. If they can contain him a little bit in the pocket, it might. And Dalton Kincaid's out, so Buffalo's starting tight end is out,
I think one receiver is out too,
and there's
Coleman,
yeah, he's out too.
rookie Coleman. Yeah,
Yep. So, who do they have? Cook at running back, right?
yeah. They got Cook at running back, and,
And
and they got
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, and Khalil Shakir
Okay.
for as your
Receivers.
receiver. So it's not really.
Yeah, and they're saying Cooper's not 100%.
Yeah.
So, and he's not the big time threat he used to be. He's more of a possession receiver now.
Hmm.
So, of course, the Chiefs are banged up too a little bit. I mean, they're still not getting Pacheco back. They're still not getting D lineman Aminahue back. Um, but the Chiefs' defense has been great all season. Uh, so I'm comfortable, and it's only a 2-point game anyway, so it could go either way. It probably will. I'm comfortable taking Kansas City across the board, and Roger
Yeah.
is probably comfortable taking Buffalo across the board.
I'm just looking at the forecast on this one.
That's a key. But
Uh,
I will say both teams are used to playing in shit
yeah,
weather.
yeah. 60% chance of rain, so less than less than an inch of rain.
Okay.
Tenth of an inch of rain. So it's really not me.
Negligible.
Just
And
a
in
little bit
all
of shade.
honesty, we're probably the Chiefs. I say we. I like it.
Yeah,
Ever notice how fans always say we? We're not fucking playing.
yeah. I mean, I don't Buffalo. I actually had Buffalo picked here, but I'm not so sure because first of all, I don't know why Kansas City's only get 2 points. I mean, that should be. I think it should be even more of an even game. Um, so getting the plus two is a
Well,
bonus.
I guess the +2 is you based on that 3-point home field advantage spread, maybe. You know how
Yeah,
they can the home team get
but then Kansas City would be favored by one at home. That doesn't, that's how I look at it.
yeah,
A 3 point, if it's a 3 point swing, um, just something fishy. But I just don't see Buffalo without some top receivers
right.
to be able to hang with them. So I'm gonna switch what I had, and I'm gonna take Kansas City.
Okay.
So that might be the jinx.
Yeah. Well, look at the bright side. You could always blame it on me and go, Johnny talked me into it, that prick. So, all right. Well, so we've got you and me taking the Chiefs, Roger taking Buffalo, but all across the board.
Hmm.
We're to Sunday night football. An interesting game, really. The Bengals go and play the Chargers in LA. The Chargers are picked by 1.5. I took Cincinnati across the board. So did Roger. Um, I think that's why I asked you about T. Higgins before.
Yep.
I think the Bengals have a weapon or two more than the Chargers. Though the Chargers are getting better every week. I think they're still a player or two short.
Yeah, and I really think Joe Burrow has been the best quarterback so far this year. So I mean,
Wow. He's
I
been
really
good.
do.
I'll give you that. I don't know about the
Yeah,
best, but I think outside of last game, it might have been Jared Goff was the best quarterback.
yeah. But I mean, maybe that helps when you light up Baltimore twice, but you know,
Yeah. Well,
uh,
Baltimore defense is
but
bad.
I think just Burrow's been on, so I got them across the board also.
Okay.
But props to Chargers being 6-3. So I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. And they could,
Harbaugh's done a nice job with them.
he's done a nice job, and I think they could sneak in the playoffs this season. They very well could be a wild card this year. I
Hmm.
mean, they're not going to win the division. The Chiefs have the division wrapped up.
Right.
But they could sneak into the playoffs very easily.
Hmm.
I don't think they'll be sneaking in it. Like you said, they're 6-3. That's not sneaking in anywhere.
No.
Um, and last but not least, the Monday night. I guess it's Monday Night Football. I'm going to call it the Monday Night Foolishness. Houston and Dallas. Houston isn't playing great. It's in Dallas. Dallas won't have the sun to blame this week because it's a night game. Nobody can blame the sun this week because that's what they were all doing last week. Oh, the sun was in our eyes. The Texas Stadium, we've had that problem. Blah, 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 blah. And Jerry's like, it's always been that way. That's the one thing I'll say is it's always been that way. But even Dallas guys were like, well, they need to come up with some kind of a curtain that could shield the sun and blah, blah, blah. You didn't say that crap when you were winning before.
Yeah.
You only say it when you lose. Um, Houston is picked by 7. Roger took Houston across the board. I took Houston across the board. I think the only reason Dallas would have a shot is if Micah Parsons goes off and starts catching Stroud in the backfield.
Yeah.
That to me is the only shot they got. Because if they can't force a turnover or two, like a strip fumble or something like that on a pass
Mhm.
rush, Houston's going to eat them up, I think.
Yeah, that's the Battle of Texas. The thing is, Jake Paul has one more victory than the Cowboys do at home. So
Nice. Nice. It came
uh,
down to a decision and Dallas lost.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely I got Houston across the board. Michael Parsons, or is it,
Dallas has no
they
real
just
running game.
offensively they can't do anything offensively. So
Yeah, they don't have a good running game to take the pressure off whoever's quarterback. You're still starting. Is it Cooper Rush starting still?
Cooper Rush, yeah.
Yeah. So you just don't have, which tells you something about what they've seen in Trey Lance and why San Francisco let him go. Because they went and got him on draft picks and thought, everybody was like, oh, it's going to be great. You must see him every day. And like, we're going to go with Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't get in until that game was over last week.
Hmm.
So that'll tell you I think his career and save up the money you're getting now, son, because when your rookie contract is done, I,
Yeah.
I don't know what's out there for you. I think his destiny is clipboard holding with a yeah. They're the guys that should get the LA Gear baseball hat endorsements. The backup quarterbacks on the side.
I like
I
you.
do admit I like the commercials where the backup quarterback, is it Progressive or somebody? They call for the backup quarterback at like house things or whatever. The
Yeah.
guy backing his car in the driveway or the bee sting thing or whatever. And they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes you just need a good backup. Keenan, get in there. You're in. That's the Brett Favre. He slaps the guy on the ass. Oh, man. Good job, buddy. You almost got us there. I'll finish it up. Get out of here. I think that would be a good setup for relief pitchers, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Closers coming in. Hey, you got us through 7. The setup guy got us through. I'll close it out for you, buddy. But yeah, that tells you how quote unquote good Trey Lance appears to be because
Yeah.
he's not even getting a shot when he could actually legitimately get a shot. So
Hmm.
he's done. He's got clipboard and baseball cap in his future. Enjoy the big money now because you're not going to get it after that's gone.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So yeah, Houston. We all took it across the board. Can look at the records for last week. Uh, and here's where picking the odds bite us in the ass, buddy, because you had, I think, a pretty good straight up week. Well, yeah, you were 7-7. I mean, you split. Roger did too. Somehow I got to 9-5. I looked, and I think a couple of the differences is one, I took the Chiefs. You guys didn't. Don't get me wrong, I was happy about that. But when we look at the odds, you had a really bad week, Bill. Maybe the worst week I ever saw we ever had in the fourth year, I guess we're doing this. We all got a push because before game time, Detroit and Houston went to 3 points. It was originally 3.5. It did go to 3. I got an alarm on my thing, and oh, cool. Because I have an alarm set from CBS Sportsline,
Mhm.
and it buzzed in. So we all got a push there. That helped maybe a little bit because we all would have got a loss. Um, you were 4-9-1. Roger though was 3-10-1.
Thank
So
you, Roger.
thanks, Roger. And somehow I got to 8-5-1. And a couple of them, like I told you, well, I'll do you guys a favor and pick this one. And every one of them panned out. It was like weird. Trying to see the differences. We were all okay, except Roger took a loss on Baltimore covering. But you and I took Cincinnati, Baltimore to win, Cincinnati to cover, and that worked out. Uh, I took Carolina. That was the game. Carolina overseas. You guys took the
Oh yeah,
Giants.
we took the
Well, Roger
Giants.
got a cover on Carolina. I took them to win and cover. That was a freakazoid thing. We all took Kansas City, and we all lost on the odds on that one. Uh, you stuck with Indy, and that hurt you because Buffalo took care of them.
Hmm.
Uh, Atlanta, we all lost on Atlanta. Um, we all lost on the odds on Minnesota. We got the win, but we didn't against Jacksonville, but Jacksonville covered somehow. Um, Washington and Pittsburgh, we lost on that one. That's what killed us all. We all lost on that one. Um, you and I won New England and covering against Chicago. Um, though we lost the game because New England actually won it, but we did win the cover. Roger took a double loss there. We both, oh no, you and Roger took San Francisco across the board. I took Tampa Bay to cover. That helped me. Uh, we all won on the Chargers. Uh, you took Dallas to cover, and so did Roger against the Eagles. I took Philly across the board. That was a big one for me. You and I took Arizona. That was big for both of us. Roger took the Jets, and he got spanked. I talked about the push, and we all took a beating on the Rams. Thanks,
Yep.
Rams. Uh, so that took our records for the season, Bill, to games without odds, straight up. You're at 63.9%, so 64% head to head. You're still at 53.4% against the spread. So you're still winning us a few bucks,
Hmm.
even after a bad week. So you're fine. Hang in there, man. Roger is at 53.7% straight up games, but with his bad week, he actually dropped below 50% after he had just climbed over it. At wah, 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 at 48.8%. So one game away if he ends up, you know, 8-6 this week or 9-5, he'll be back over 50%. I'm 95-54, 63.8%. So you have me by 1/10 of a percent in straight
Wow.
games. Um, but against the odds, I'm 75-42, which is 64%.
Nice.
So I'll keep taking that, and we'll go from there. But pretty good, pretty good totals for the season. We're all within the realm of either making money or not losing our shirts, which is really all we can hope for. Um, I can't think of any other sporting news this week except some college games that are going on right now. The polls are out. The big talk is there going to be a three-loss team in the playoffs? Now they're saying if Georgia loses today, which I haven't checked the score with Tennessee, that would give them 3 losses. And then if they run the table, they could very well make that top 12.
Yeah, they haven't played. They play at 7:30.
They play
Tennessee.
7:30 tonight. Holy cow! Penn State crushing
Yeah, Penn State's up 40,
42-9. It looks like
40. Yeah. Um,
Texas beat Arkansas. Yeah, Tennessee, Georgia says 7:30 your time, 6 about
number
another
8.
hour.
Yeah, number 8 Notre Dame winning big. 14 SMU is up by 10.
Texas won. Clemson beat Pitt, but Clemson's at
Yeah,
20.
Clemson. Texas won 20-10.
Yeah,
Colorado number 17. Ohio State number 2 won big.
they won big
And
over.
Bama number 10 won big.
But I'll tell you what, the spread was 29.5 for Ohio State. So if you took Northwestern, you'd have won.
You would have won.
Spread, you would have won. There was a guy named Warner Wolf who was a really good sportscaster out of New York, and he used to be on the Imus show before Imus, was found to be inappropriate, saying the same shit he'd said for 20, 25 years. But suddenly he became inappropriate, which, in all honesty, he always was. Always was. He was always inappropriate. But Warner Wolf used to say, if you took Ohio State to cover the 29.5 point spread, you lost. And he would say it with such gusto. You lost. How's it feel? Your wallet's lighter. And I'd be like, oh man, that guy's great. Because he just said it like you and I sitting on the couch. Colorado beat Utah big. Great. That's more feed for Dion, who
Yeah.
Tulane thumped the Navy. I feel bad for Navy. They started out great, but today they got shut out 35-zip. Yikes. Alabama beat Mercer, which makes me think of Mercer University out of New Jersey. It's like 52-7. Boise State and San Jose State tonight. Boise's 13, so they're just barely outside the window of the 12.
Number 1 Oregon plays at 7:30 my time against Wisconsin. They're only favored by 13.5.
Wisconsin, Oregon is really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. That one's on NBC. I might have to semi-watch that game, but Kansas State's on it. About another half hour.
Texas A&M, they're favored by 38.5.
Whoa, really?
Here's one. BYU 9-0, ranked 6, playing Kansas, and BYU's only favored by 2.5.
Kansas beat somebody big last week, and I think that's why. They beat a ranked team last week, but they're going to BYU, and that place is nuts. I mean, Kansas State lost to them, and it wasn't close after the first half. I would personally take BYU across the board if we were betting college games. I would. You're right. 2.5 is nothing, and Kansas isn't that good. Like I said, they had a good week last week. Can't remember who it was they beat, but they beat a ranked team, I think, and nobody expected that. But let's see if I can find out without going through a mess of stuff here. KU, here we go. Last week. Oh, they beat Iowa State. It was 17th. They beat them by 9. And knocked Iowa State right out of the top 20 when they beat them. So I was
Wow.
like, wow, that's weird. So yeah, but I think BYU is better than Iowa State, and I because I've seen them play a couple times. That's a late game, so I won't see it probably tonight unless I have an insomnia attack or something, which I have had. Um, but if I'm awake, I would watch it, but I'm not gonna, you know, take a nap and take precautions to do that.
Yeah.
It's not,
It's not that
uh,
important.
yeah, exactly. I personally would like to see Kansas State win a few more, 2 or 3 more games and get themselves close to getting in that top 12, but I don't know if it's going to happen now because now they're 16th. They'd have to win the next couple of games big. They got to,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I think that loss to Houston last week hurt them. Uh, they had a shot. I think they were as high as 13th at one point. A win against Houston might have kept them there, and then a win today might have moved them up. But I don't know how you can make up 4 spots at this point in the season.
Yeah, no.
You especially since you're not in the SEC or the Big Ten.
Mhm.
I mean, but yeah, if Georgia loses to Tennessee and it's close, I bet you they're still in the top 12 or will be at the end of the season if they run the table,
Yeah,
which to me is a travesty if you got other teams out there and just to, because that's all about money.
exactly.
Georgia's going to bring money in. That's part of why Notre Dame keeps making the top 12 because they travel so well, make so much money for bowl games.
Hmm.
It's money.
Yep.
Um, I don't know. So, unless you have something else, buddy, that we can close up this episode from the cheap seats.
No, let's go Flyers. The 4 games in a row, they went into overtime and they won 3 out of the 4. So,
Oh, is Kate Smith singing again?
yeah, she's back now.
No, she ain't. In fact, they'd be last 4 in a row, baby. There, no, can't.
So they play Buffalo, so it should be a win tonight. So we'll see.
Well, good for them. I'm, I'm not on board with Philly since the Kate Smith thing, and yeah, I did tell you I did finally write in. I emailed. I did finally email the website. Never got an answer. And I pointed to the link. I said, here is the background on Kate Smith. If somebody, and I said, if somebody really cares, why don't you read this? And then I just went, but I don't expect an answer in return because it's all about the corporate dollar and you don't want to offend people. There'd be no offense here.
Yeah.
She played, and I put on there, read all the facts about her. She played the Apollo Theater with African American audiences who accepted her. She was not a racist. I said, but you're all worried about public perception that doesn't even have to be based on fact. Until then, and I was a lifelong Flyer fan, followed them in the 70s when I was a teenager, watching them win Stanley Cups. But I cannot support you, and I've told them. I mean, there's a couple people. I said, I'm not alone in this, and this is a travesty. But you don't care because you're still making your money.
Hmm.
I said, but if the same management decisions that are handling the team or who's handling the PR, I can see why you haven't been past the playoffs in the last few years because the decision making is terrible.
Yeah.
I felt like if I could have borrowed a Charles Barkley meme, it's terrible. But I'm right. I haven't gotten an answer, and I don't expect to.
No, you're not going to get an answer.
No, no, no. But I wanted to try just for fun.
What we all need to do is go out there and protest. That's what we need to
Well,
do.
but nobody does that anymore.
No.
Nobody wants to take that. I'd be out there by myself with a sign.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Bring back Kate Smith. I should look up where is the statue now. I know the Wildwood mayor wanted the statue and was going to put it up in a prominent place in Wildwood because he disagreed with it.
I
But
guarantee if you send them an email, say you want to purchase it, they'll answer you real quick.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Kate Smith statue. They probably still have it in storage. Yeah, where is the Kate Smith statue now? In storage. Yep. After being removed in 2019 due to controversy over some of Smith's songs, including That's Why Darkies Were Born and Pickaninny Heaven. I'd actually like to hear the song or hear the lyrics, see the lyrics and see if the lyrics were actually derogatory or not.
Mhm.
Because it wouldn't surprise me if she sang them at the Apollo.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, shitheads.
Well, like I said, that's
But I know and I'm the same way, I guess. Deep down, if the Flyers ever do anything, I'll probably be like, yeah, go. But it just bothers the hell out of me. That's why, like I told you, I pretty much root for Carolina because at least an old school Flyer, Rod Brindamore, coaches them.
yeah.
Yeah, he
No,
was.
I get it.
I know, and I know you. But
Get it.
sports has
And you
become
know
all
what?
money,
They
buddy. But
caved.
that's a whole different.
They caved in to
They caved.
and that's what the thing is. Nobody stands up for themselves, even when people make remarks. And then they apologize. No, if you're meant to say it,
Say
stand
it.
for
Stick with
yourself,
it.
and you said it.
Stay with it. If that's what you really believe, don't give me oh, if I hurt anybody or offended them,
Yeah,
you knew that when you said it.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
bullshit.
Go scratch my nuts.
Hey, nuts! Manscape me and then scratch them, bastards. That's fucking great.
But it is. That's like that's the worst thing that they. Oh, I didn't mean to offend anybody. Oh,
Oh God, yeah. But if I offended anybody, I'm really sorry. You know you did, number one. The minute you opened your mouth, you knew you offended somebody. It's all PR, you bastards. So, oh well, that's enough. I got on my soapbox. We both did a little bit. Um, but yay, yeah, go Flyers. Woo, yeah. Go, you corporate entity bastards. Yeah. Corporate giving in bastard. Go ahead. Uh, but the orange looks good on you, Bill.
of course.
The old Rodney Dangerfield
I look
line.
like the Great Pumpkin.
That's true. Oh, look, I got my co-host on, Billy Pumpkin Spice Smith. It's the holidays, folks, and he's here as Pumpkin Spice. The old Rodney Dangerfield line with the hat. What he just go, oh, last time I saw somebody wear a hat like this, they were in line waiting for a bowl of soup. Oh, a free bowl of soup. Turns around, looks at the guy wearing it. Oh, but it looks good on you, though. It's like, yeah, the orange looks good on you, Bill. So, all right, buddy.
All
Well,
right, my friend.
for all of us here at Public John Media and for Dennis and Graldi at 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland, New Jersey, our beloved sponsor. Thank you, Bill. Remember, in dog beers, I've only had one.
There you go.
There you go. Always, I've only had one. Thanks, folks, for tuning in. We will talk to you next week from the cheap seats for Billy Smith and Roger, who is right now, hopefully, either is or becoming a daddy for the sixth time. Him and his wife are at the hospital expecting, and she's apparently getting ready to give birth. Good luck to them, and I hope everything goes well. Let us know, Roger, as soon as you can, how it went, how everything is. We expect you guys to be heading home in a day or two with a brand new baby girl. So, congratulations, Roger. We will talk to you guys soon next week. We'll update you on Roger being a daddy and everything going well, because that's what we think is going to happen. That's what I got on the over-under, Bill, that everything's going to go good.
Yeah, I agree.
Point spread, how many kids is Roger going to have? I'm going to go with 8. I don't think they're done. I don't think they're done.
I think one more. I think lucky 7.
You think it's 7? All right. We'll have to talk to Roger about that when he gets back. What's the over-under, buddy? But we'll go with that. Hey, for everybody here, thanks, folks. Have a great we'll talk to you before Thanksgiving. We got some Thanksgiving games coming up.
Yep.
So we'll probably have a quick show to discuss them, and then so you might get a 2 for next week, folks. We'll talk to you soon from the cheap seats. Bill and I are gonna brush off the seat, but leave the peanut shells there and get the hell out of here. See you, Bill.
Good night.